Hey, what is going on, crypto people? Happy Friday to each and every one of you. Flare Networks is in the news. We're going to get into that. The market, my friends, is doing what the market does. And Flare Network is not just in the news, it's making big moves. It is so freaking obvious. And how blessed are we as XRP holders to rid ourselves of tax concerns and be able to be blessed with the airdrop tokens from the Flare community. Now, some of us went the wrong route and have to now go to legal remedies to get their FLR tokens from both Coinbase and Celsius Network. But Flare was very, very generous in what they've done. Can't wait to share what they got going on. And look, the El Salvadorian president making some moves, making some noise at the CPAC event for 2024. I guess it's some conservatives, something or another thing. I remember the XRP entertaining content creators throwing shade at this dude at the idea of making Bitcoin legal tender. I remember that. Interesting stuff. Listen, let's go over the numbers because the market is doing what the market does, fam. What the world? My guy Alessio is giving us a heads up on the possible retrace end of February, beginning of March, into the month of March. Just be prepared for that. Historically, this is what has happened. So we'll see how much of that retrace we get. 45, 47, don't know. Something along those lines, I'm imagining. So look, at the total cryptocurrency market cap, according to CoinGecko, the one. Where is the total cryptocurrency market cap here? 2.05 trillion. Bitcoin dominance is at 48%. Until we get to the Bitcoin dominance getting over 60%, and then it starts to go down in the other direction because alts are doing their stuff. For me, this is Bitcoin dominance is 48%. Look, the dominance for me is kind of like the thing that matters. Historically, when it gets to 60, 65%, then we start to see everything flip around markets. I mean, everything turns around the other direction. So this is great for Bitcoin right now. And by the way, the dominance, a lot of people don't understand like that. Bitcoin like owns the market during the bull, during the bear. It doesn't matter. It's when do the alts own the dominance that we get to see the profits that we all like to see. Bitcoin is trading at 51,000. Ethereum is trading at 2,946. It did go over 3,000, I believe. XRP is trading at 53 cents. Now, I just saw Bitcoin just, 30, 40 minutes ago, it was at 50,000. So this thing is something. But it is doing what the market does. It's just doing what it freaking does. Pangolin, what the world? The pangolin is up 238%. 238%. Largest gain is Pangolin. Uniswap, 52%. Krill, 38%. 230% for Pangolin. Interesting that is happening over there in the Polygon. I believe that's the Polygon ecosystem with Pangolin. Or is it Avalanche? Can't remember. Honestly, can't remember. Anyway, let's get into some Flare Network news. Flare put this out. Flare Networks put this out. Flare's earliest investors have reinvested in the long-term future of the network in a groundbreaking new agreement. I've said this on my channel several times. I've posted on X. There should be some people copying the playbook from Flare. Just copy the playbook. One of the most important things they did was engage in an engaging community. Dealt with the blows, dealt with the feedback, dealt with the whatever. They didn't sit out, they didn't seek out banks and institutions. They didn't seek out any of that stuff. They sought out an engaging community. And some people say they use the community. I don't agree with that. I believe that they sought out an engaging community. And I believe they made decisions along the way to for the better of the entire ecosystem. I think it was a great playbook, in my opinion. It says, in addition to extending token investing and capping sales, they will reinvest 50% of any token sales back into the Flare ecosystem projects. Oh man, that is interesting. Flare.network.backer agreement. Interesting stuff. I'm not going to go over too much of it in detail. Yeah. Updates to Flare's tokenomics following and reinvestment from early backers. Today, we announced an agreement with a group of Flare's early backers, which will reduce excess FLR liquidity, increase capital inflows to Flare DeFi protocols, and generate new investment in Flare ecosystem projects. You ever get the sense you always pray to God and the creator, can I just find a groundbreaking technology and project in its early days and be early to it so I can look back in 2 years or 3 years from now and realize I was there early for this groundbreaking thing that's less than 5 cents? Blair's earliest investors, okay. Oh, I didn't even read that. I should have read that. Blair's earliest investors, including Hong Kong and US-based Kinetic, KE, Kinetic, New York-based Avis, Layer, and others have doubled down on their investment in Flare, the leading blockchain for data, by extending token investing, limiting token sales, and committing significant capital to new capital to investing across the ecosystem. I can't speak this morning. So, love it. This is, today we announced an agreement with the Flare group of Flare's early backers, which will reduce excess FLR liquidity, increase capital inflows to Flare's DeFi protocols, and generate new investment in Flare's eco projects. The backers are voluntarily extending their token vesting period from 2024 to the Q1 of 2026. Looks like to me that Flare has a habit of attracting the right people. That's what it looks like to me. Wow. And they have agreed to limit their token sales to a maximum of 0.5% of the daily average volume. Interesting. At the current market valuation, the potential reinvestment into the ecosystem comes to $35 million. Extended token vesting, FLR selling limit, FLR ecosystem reinvestment, 50% of all investors' proceeds from FLR sold through January 2026 will be reinvested in the Flare apps, DeFi, TVL, and liquidity provision, bolstering the most crucial value accrual mechanisms. The investor group agreed to full programmatic monitoring and accountability for binding adherence to the mission and commitments. Early investors will receive their original agreed total, 2% Flare token supply. However, these new terms represent a 68% reduction in upfront distribution. Oh my goodness. And people were worried about taxes. Unbelievable. People who let little things cheat them out of big money. I wonder who took this. I know I took some of my dirty, nasty fiat. And even though I knew I had 6 figures of FLR tokens, I dirty, nasty fiat and got more FLR tokens. And I'm going to do it again, even at 4 cents. I'm going to do it again. I may wait for February, end of February to get more, but I'm going to do it again. This is genius in motion. We're talking about, in my humble opinion, I just found out Arthur Hayes. Now, first of all, not only did Hugo Filion have not Roger Ver. What's the other OG Bitcoin guy who ended up in jail? Kind of scapegoated. Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. Young guy, New York, ended up going to jail early on and got out. Has his own podcast. Forget his name. He interviewed Hugo. Okay, from Flat Networks. You guys let me know in the comments who that guy's name is. It'll probably come to me later. He interviewed Hugo. Okay, Charlie. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Charlie Shrem, Mr. Shrem. He had Miss Hugo Flair Networks had Charlie Shrem like, oh wow. Oh wow. Yeah. Guess who else Flair Networks has going like that as well? Those same sentiments. Arthur Hayes. Now you could call him a degenerate gambler all you want, but the dude is smart and gets this space like no other. You could call him a gambler if you want. I won't argue with you. He likes the high stake gambling stuff. But dude is smart. He is another one who's like this about Flynn. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Raving testimonial. Raving testimonial. All right. So let me cover some stuff here just to remind the entertaining content creators who threw shade at this dude and the idea notion of having Bitcoin, it's designated as a currency or whatever. He's at the CPAC calling out George Soros. Like, who the heck does George Soros think he's at? Who he is? He's at the CPAC educating this country about the real, what's going on with this country. I'm going to read this and I'll let you listen. The real problem is that you pay high taxes only to uphold the illusion that you are funding the government, which you are not. It takes a lot of bravery to do this. It takes a lot of bravery to go up against the IMF and decide to make Bitcoin legal tender. It takes a lot of bravery to rid itself of the ills that they have rid themselves of. It takes someone who's not going to hide behind, oh, you know what? They'll just break out the big guns. Never mind that this idea is right for the country. They'll just break out the big guns. Remember that kind of mindset? The government is funded by money printing, paperback with paper, a bubble that will inevitably burst. The situation is even worse than it seems because if most Americans and the rest of the world were to become aware of this farce, confidence in your currency would be lost. The dollar would fall and Western civilization with it. Just the courage to speak the truth. Just the courage to speak the truth. The country ran a long time and was in net positive before taxes. This country. The historical fact is that the central bankers pulled the hoodwink on the U.S. government in which they flipped control to themselves. Historical fact. It's the reason why they call them the banking cartel. Historical fact about the IRS will blow your mind. It will blow your mind if you learn the truth about the IRS. I'll let you listen to. I can't pronounce his name. I wish I could pronounce his name. Let's listen to him. Here it is.
Someone could ask, well, so if the government can print unlimited amounts of money out of thin air, why do they collect taxes? I mean, in theory, it would make sense, right? If they can print unlimited amounts of money, why would they need taxes for? The answer is simple, but it's very shocking. The real problem is that you pay high taxes only to uphold the illusion that you are funding the government, which you are not. It's shocking, but it's true. The government is funded by money printing, paper backed with paper, a bubble that will inevitably burst. The situation is even worse than it seems, because if most Americans and the rest of the world were to become aware of this farce, confidence in your currency would be lost, the dollar would fall, and the Western civilization with it. Someone could ask, well, so if the government...
That's why we have the three letters, right? That's why we have the three-letter agencies. I don't know if this is the same one or not, but this guy put this out. If the government can forget, why do you pay taxes? The greatest president of the modern era is shattering the illusion of fiat slavery. Here he speaks out, president of Australia, is it Nayib Bukele? Speaks out about George Soros. This is just, look, it's so important. It's important to understand, right? We got to get away from this truth thing that we can't handle it. We have to just get away from that, fam. We can handle it. You can handle it. The truth is the truth is not going to change. It's not going to change the greatest democracy ever created in the history of man. Just because we're like this when it comes to that, and we get exposed to some truths and we just go to here because of that, isn't that okay? Like, isn't that okay? What if we even come further down here? What if we come to like here in terms of the rest of the world? Isn't that okay? The illusion is not what makes this country the awesome thing that it is. The country that is awesome makes it what it is. My mentor used to say to me, people are not jumping in boats and jumping over walls to get to Bangladesh. They're doing that to get to America. So a little truth is not going to hurt. We'll be okay. Says here, base President Nayib, based, I don't know what that means. President Nayib Bukele of El Salvador puts George Soros on notice on a global stage. Check this out.
They don't have a democratic mandate. If they want a seat in the table, they should run for office. Let the people vote. It will not be a pretty sight for them if the elections are free and fair. I mean, who elected Soros to dictate public policy and laws? Why does he feel entitled to impose his agenda? Let me tell you something. Soros and his cronies hit a brick wall in El Salvador. Thank God, and all the glory be to him, Salvadorans are now immune to his influence.
This is the president of a country It's just a measure of confidence, right? A little swag, as we like to call it, to this dude. You got to be willing to speak the truth. You understand there's going to be some repercussions to coming to this country and speaking at this event. Puts a target on his back. We just can't have people of influence being afraid to attack those who would try to harm the greater good, like democracy. There's a reason why Soros has been coming after this country and keeps coming after this country and keeps coming after this country. Trying to attack the greater good, man. We can, and until we are willing to be exposed to the truth, how can we get there? How can we get back to where we were? We got to be willing to embrace the truth for what it is so that we can get better. You know, bold moves like making Bitcoin legal tender is because the dude understands the bigger picture to it, not technology. It's just, this dude says, look, we want to be able to choose our own currency. You understand? That's what he's saying to the rest of the world and the IMF. No, we're good. We want to be able to choose our own currency. Just because people don't understand it yet and how to use it yet, the idea is being able to choose our own currency, choose our own monetary policy that comes with it, and choose where we store it. Do you know that there's nations around the world that tell other countries where they can store their gold? Did you know that? You ever think about how maddening that is? All right, fam. So there it is. Shout out to this dude. Shout out and congratulations to Flare Network. Wow. Big time moves. Shout out to Hugo and the team over there. Big time moves. Pretty cool the stuff that they're doing over there. Pretty cool what they're doing over there. And again, the XRP ledger was created to be a better Bitcoin, which means they had to start somewhere. The XRP ledger had to start somewhere, perhaps looking at the playbook of Bitcoin to make a better Bitcoin. They called it the XRPL. Flare Networks has a playbook that, in my opinion, is working. Perhaps some other people can copy that playbook and come up with their own thing, or make the thing that they have better. All right, fam. So there it is. This wraps up your XRP Ripple Daily News in around 0 to 10 minutes. I hope that it has been of value to you. If it has, do me a favor and hit that like button. It is the greatest way that you can support the channel for sure. And if you've been hanging out watching the Crypto Seeds and you have enjoyed those hangouts, please consider subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you know whenever we go live, baby, and whenever we upload a video. I'm going to end this one like I do all my videos and remind you guys of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. But that's okay, though, because you and I, we're already winning. And I would ask you to consider this, perhaps ponder the idea or notion of living your life permissionless. I'll talk to you guys soon. See you. Bye.